This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Well, I don't know, I've managed to pull this one off, but unbelievable. Off the back of our interview yesterday where Eddie Hearn mentioned that he had a bout in the early 90s. Francis from Newham ABC. And today, here we are now. Welcome, Francis. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Sorry, my tooth just fell out.
That must have been the fight back when we were 12.
It was. God, I had a nightmare. Here we go.
That's all right. Okay, let's start first of all. Francis, obviously early 90s, quite a while ago now. And
Hold on, Scoop. Tell them what happened today, because it's a funny story.
With what?
With everything, with everyone getting in touch.
Well, okay, so I had a message from your pal Ian, is it, on Facebook?
Ian Rogers.
Is his name Ian?
Yeah, Ian, yeah.
Right, so Ian set up a Facebook group that contained me, Francis, and Ian. He said, look, here's Francis here. And I said, is this legit? And then obviously Francis came into the group and said, yes, it is me, and blah, blah. Then I got in touch with you, Ed, and said I found him, etc. And then, a few hours later, here we are. So... the
powers of social media.
Powers of social media, indeed. So, Francis, as I understand, when you had this bout, obviously you guys would have been too young, I'm assuming, to be carded as such. So there wouldn't have really have been a winner declared. Is that right? Yeah,
no, it was just it's all amateur, wasn't it? So we just turned up at the club and we were just sort of picked out and pointed out who he was going to fight.
So prior to that, how many fights had you actually had?
Loads of amateurs, loads of sort of bouts and stuff around different clubs around sort of the southeast of England.
I knew I was stitched up.
So experience-wise, it was quite more in your favour, obviously.
It was on and off because, as Eddie put it, I was a little fat kid, and obviously when you weigh quite a bit, you're obviously fighting kids much older than yourself. So yeah, it was a bit daunting when I was younger, going into the ring at sort of 11, 12, fighting 16, 17-year-olds.
So who did you think you were actually fighting? Was it like Barry Hearn's son? This is who you're fighting?
Yeah, but the story I got told was my granddad was pro, and when I don't know how true it is, but I think his dad Barry recognised the name and come over and approached me dad and said like it'd be great if like my boy and your boy could fight or something like that. I don't know how true that is, but
you know what, Francis? I was speaking to my old man today, right, and he went. He spoke to your dad before we fought.
Yeah.
Right? And he went, because I think my dad was a little bit worried about me, to be honest with you. And he said he spoke to your dad and he went, oh, my boy's fighting your boy, blah, blah. How many bouts has your boy had? And I think he said something like 29 or something like that. And it was my second bout. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, it was true though, because when we, obviously, at the start of the show, you get weighed up and then they pair you up and match you up.
Yeah.
And I do, what I said to Koo was funny because I looked at you and I thought, fucking hell.
Do you remember what you actually said to me?
What I said to you? No, what did I say?
You was there with your little barge, weren't you? And so obviously when we got paired up, you're fighting you, I went up and said, like good luck, mate, and whatever, you put your coat over yourself, you went, come on, boys, I've got a fight to win.
What's a helmet? Sorry about that. No, but I remember looking at you, right, and I thought to myself, because I had Jimmy Mack there. He was there watching Jim McDonnell and my old man and everything like that. And I thought I was the nuts. I went down Charlie Magri's, bought myself some lovely Billericay blue title gear, came out. And I've got the video somewhere of the fight, right? But it's on one of those old VHS things. And I was like a jack in the box. And you come out like a fucking absolute Rottweiler. And I honestly thought I was going to pummel you, right? And you were fucking so strong. I just remember holding you down and you were just winging them over the top. And I was thinking to myself, fuck this. Do you know what I mean?
You see, when we was getting our gloves on done up as well, I think I pointed over to you and I said, good luck, mate. You went, you're dead.
No, leave off. Don't give me a bad name.
And that was it. What you done wrong, you scared me.
What that round, which you spoke about in yesterday's interview, Eddie, you said that he come out and your words were, like a fucking animal. What do you remember about that first round, Francis?
just that, I was nervous. Very, very nervous. I always suffered with nerves. But yeah, just and obviously the only thing I could do was come out like a raging bull, to curb the nerves, you know.
So that was round 1. So round 2 and 3, Eddie, did you get back in the game?
Do you know that famous Charlie Chaplin film where he goes running around the ring?
It was pretty much like that. But actually, I had no feet, so I was just bouncing up and down in the air. I was a skinny thing. So that's why we got matched, because I was like 6 foot. Yeah, I was like streak of piss. And I don't know how tall you were, 5', 6", whatever you were then, I don't know. But there was a massive height difference. But he wouldn't stop. Wouldn't fucking stop. But it's one of them things, you know, when you come out, when you used to do the gym bouts, you come out and obviously my old man and Jim McDonald go, oh, you won that easy. And then you watch your tape back and you go, oh, I don't know about that actually. But it was like, I have to admit, I did box a move for the second and third round to just stay out of trouble, because he was so strong, you know, and not what I was used to, really, because at that age, 12, 13, whatever it was, like you don't really, you know, normally you move around, but he was a handful. And you have to understand as well, as you know, Koo, coming from Billericay, I know I'm from Brentwood, but although there were roughhouses in Billericay Boxing Club, Newham was a proper roughhouse club. You know, if you were from Newham,
sawdust, wasn't it?
Yeah, you were a double R bastard. So although when they told us that we were fighting Newham, I half shit myself already. But then when I spotted Francis, I thought, actually, this might not be too bad. But then when we got in the ring and the bell rang, I knew what Newham was all about, you know. And there was another really good friend of mine called Chrissy Ings. There was 2 kids that boxed on a card who were really good fighters at my club. One was Chrissy Ings, who I actually saw the other day. And another one was a kid called Bradley. And he actually went on to do well, I think, in the junior ABAs. He might have even won an ABA. And it was a really good day of boxing, actually. I was always a kid that was quite shit, but I'd always have a go. But these kids were really good fighters. Chris Ings, this kid called Bradswell, I can't remember his last name. But it was like, those days, my first one was at Dagenham. And that was before I boxed Francis. And that was it's so rough and lively. You know, I mean, I come from a working class old man, but I was grown up, you know, I grew up privileged. So I used to love it, because it was like, Francis said, it was the screaming and shouting and the mums and the dads and the kids from the club. Go on, hit him. Right. You
know. Francis, what's happened with you since, obviously we're talking about a long time ago, then how did your kind of boxing career conclude after that?
Yeah, well, that was probably
just telling me when I won a world title or something, mate.
No, that was probably one of my last fights, to be fair, because as I said, the nerves used to get.
Well, you know, I do that to people.
He retired you? Did he retire you then?
He did. But then I went over to rugby. And that's where I sort of full-tied and done a lot of representative stuff and ended up in national leagues and stuff. So, yeah, no, I ended up doing well with that. With the rugby, though, I'd suffered with the nerves there, so I had sports psychology on England camps and all that sort of thing. So,
what club did you play for locally?
Majority of the time was Barking.
Oh, right, okay. You know John Rudd?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he a good pal of yours, is he?
Well, yeah, I used to learn a lot of the boys at Cooper's, and he come out of that sort of background, but he was a good player.
Yeah, so yeah, he was in that cult one of the cup.
Yeah. John Castles as well.
I don't know that name, no. But yeah, no, Ruddy, yeah, Rhino Rudd, when it was called.
Strong boy. I remember when we was about 15, I think he had I think his voice broke at about 12, and he had a big set of nuts on him, and he just run for everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like him.
Honestly, when KUGAN sent me the picture today, because he was like, I don't know if it's a wind-up, but this bloke says that it's him. And I went, well, send me a picture. And when he sent me the picture, I could just picture it now. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I've got a photo, because it was one of your dads was promoting someone as well at the time, and he was doing all pictures with the kids in the ring after, wasn't he?
We were trying to get the decision. We were trying to get the judges on side.
But shame I can't get a picture out, but I did have a proper basin.
Yeah, you did. No, you did.
Yeah.
I remember. And I think you were wearing white and red. Is that right? Is that Newham?
Oh, yeah, that's Newham colours, yeah.
I was going to ask, I don't want to put Eddie in it, but when you heard him refer to you as the chubby kid with the basin, you just think, what did you think of that?
I had a flashback to all them years ago when he said he was going to kill me.
I had to pretend that I was tough. That was the thing. You know what I mean?
Just that he's got a bigger entourage now, hasn't he?
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Same question to you, Eddie. After that bout, what did you do? Did you stay in boxing or?
Yeah, I had 2 spells. I had a couple of fights then, came back. But the thing was, the gym shows and stuff like that, they were quite good fun. They were quite harmless. And then I actually went back to Billericay at about 15 and started sparring some men. And I'd done quite well. And then there was a couple of times I got really bashed up in sparring. And to be honest with you, I thought, fuck, this ain't for me. But even when I went, you know, I used to hang around. Obviously, when I boxed Francis, I was like hanging around with, you know, Jim McDonnell and Eubank, and I thought I was unbelievable. It's only when you watch the videos back, you realise how bad you are. It's like when you hit the bag now. You know, or we muck around, Kugan, I do the speedball with you, or I hit something, and I think, oh, that was sharp. And then you watch the video back and you go, oh, awful. So, you know, unfortunately, but I've actually, since you told me that he got in touch today and he sent the video, just been reminiscing really, and you realise, you think, where's your life go?
That's it, mate.
That was 29 years ago. 29 years ago. I mean, just amazing. And I can, and seeing him and, you know, seeing this picture, I can remember it like it was yesterday. You know, you talk about your nerves. I mean, I was absolutely shitting myself, to be honest with you. I mean, but that was part of the fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was.
That was the great thing about amateur boxing, because, and you know what, you know, clubs like Nurem do for kids, and, you know, I don't know what your background was or your confidence, but, you know, I really feel my sister has got 2 sons, and she's like, oh, I don't want them to watch boxing. I said, you don't understand. I said, you don't understand what it does for their character and their discipline and respect.
Confidence.
Yeah, confidence. And for me, I was thrown into, you know, a different kind of environment, but one that, you know, and I learned some of the best lessons. At boxing. You know, I was never any good, but I had to go, and it just learnt you that how tough some people are. And I knew that I wasn't cut for that sort of game, because to be a fighter, you got to be different. You know, you can't tell me a great fighter that's had a privileged upbringing. You know what I mean? I mean, actually, sometimes when I look at Chris Eubank Jr., you know, we don't always get on, but I do respect him because he's come from money and he's a tough bastard.
Yeah.
And he can dig deep, and he has got heart. He might not have the most ability in the world, but he does have heart. And, you know, when you mix from where I come from, when you start fighting people like Francis and Nurem and all these kids, it's a different world. And I don't know, you know, I guess when you match that, I guess that everyone's whispering, oh, it's Barry Hearn's son, it's Barry Hearn's son. And I always tell the story from, they used to call me Eddie Hills, right? People take it, but it's true, because my dad didn't want anyone to know who I was, because they thought they'd pummel me if they did, you know. But obviously everyone knew because he was there, and, you know, sometimes the fighters were there. But I just feel that boxing, clubs like Nurem, I mean, Nurem's a club that's steeped in history, done so much great work in the community. You know, you look at
great fight.
Repton, not too far away. You know, Tony Burns passed away the other day. These people play such a massive role in society, and I don't think they get the support they need, really.
Yeah.
So, is the Hearn Ambrose saga over, or?
Mate, he's fucking, look at him. He'd fucking take my head off. I mean, we're both still carrying a bit of timber. The worst thing is, he was a bit chubby when we fought. Now I'm chubby. Do you know what I mean? So we couldn't do 3 1-minute rounds, let alone that. So what I would like to do is, once crowd's about, I'd love you to come to a show, mate, and you know, bring your missus or your family, and come and have a night out. It'd be good to shake your hand and see you again. And I've enjoyed today, honestly. I don't want to sound like a softie, but it just does. It makes you. It puts you back in a world where you were carefree. Do you know what I mean? You were a kid. You didn't have any responsibilities. You didn't have the kids to worry about. You were just young, and, well, you were probably more of a tearaway than me, but I was a pretend tearaway. But, you know, it was good days, and, you know, I hope clubs like that carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's getting late, so I appreciate your time, Francis. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
It's been really good, because I think a lot of people doubted Eddie Hearn's phantom amateur.
They'll probably think that Francis is made up now, and we just set the whole thing up. But we said off camera, didn't we? He said to you earlier, do you know, I've been telling this story for years. No one believes me. I said, mate, I've been telling the same story. No one believes me either. So, you know, great to see you, mate.
And you, all the best.
No problem. Eddie Hearn, Francis Ambrose, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. And yeah, we'll catch up again soon.
I'll grab your details off Kugan, yeah, when we get back up and running. I'll see you at the show.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much,
Okay,
mate.
yourself, mate.
Best. Take care.